Hey, I'm gonna teach you a couple of ways to open your psychic field or your psychic abilities, your third eye. So, these can work for many different abilities. I don't know. Uh, I had to remake the video. That's why the candle was lit, because YouTube cut me off at 5 minutes last time. So, I'm going to explain this again. You're going to need a brown jar, or a dark colored jar with a dropper, big clear jar, and a piece of blue calcite, and water. Now, oh, and you're also going to need vinegar, any type of vinegar, or something that'll hold it, alcohol, vinegar, whatever. I use vinegar because I can't really touch alcohol, considering that I'm only a kid, really, teenager, preteen. Now that we've looked at my life, pour about 8 ounces of water into your jar. Put the blue calcite inside. I already got the blue calcite in because I've already made it. If you noticed, the jar is full. So put your blue calcite in. Oh, and you do want to be careful with some stones because some of them can be toxic. So when you mix them with water and then they become partially liquid, they can be poisonous, or they can make you really sick. So don't use toxic stones. Do research on the stones that you're using, but if you desperately want the properties of a toxic stone, of a stone that's toxic, instead of using a jar, you can use a clear bowl and use a thinner jar that fits the stone inside, and pour some water in there and put water into your bowl and put the stone into the stone bottle in the water. Now that you've understood all that part, I think I'm gonna re-explain this jar. You're gonna fill it about 8 ounces of whey. Put your stone inside and put it either up on your windowsill or down on your altar. Now, the reason for the windowsill and the altar is so that way it can absorb sunlight. It needs to absorb sunlight for at least 1 to 7 hours. I don't know why I said almost said 7 to 1 hours, but that would have just been confusing. Then, once you've left it there for that period of time, you put it into your dropper container that's a dark color, so it stops absorbing sunlight, or doesn't absorb too much, one or the other. And then you only fill it about 3/4 of the way, so about here. And then this amount will be filled with your preservative, your vinegar, apple cider vinegar, alcohol, whatever you're using. Now, another way to increase your psychic ability is with potions, brews, elixirs. Actually, this is an elixir. So another way is with incense, I guess, really, or herbs. Sage is a very strong psychic ability increaser, so I use that often to help increase my abilities. Now, you can also use spells. I'm going to show you a spell that I copied off someone's book, because I am really kind of not that good at writing spells. And when I do, they often take up this many pages almost. They take up like 10 pages in my book of shadows, so I don't really write in it. I only write little pages of information. I can't really pronounce their name. But yeah. I copied them off of a book that she wrote. So, yeah, once you've got your spell, we're using Psychic Power. I'm going to get my mini Book of Shadows because for somehow I rewrote it in here so I can see it a little bit better in this book. Now, it's a chant. And what you're going to need for this spell, let me move that out of the way, is you're going to need a light blue candle, any size, doesn't matter, electric or burning, it doesn't really matter, something that increases your magic. I'm using a spell bottle, your wand, an amethyst crystal, and a quartz crystal. You're also going to need some moon water, full moon water. Move all that stuff out of the way. Now, you're going to place the... Here, let me show you. Put that there. This here. You know what? I'll show you. This. Put that there. Here. Here. Stones go in the middle with the wand right above. So you can see that. And what you're going to say is, third eye ready, nice and steady, psychic power grows stronger, ignorant I am no longer. And you're going to say that until you feel either it'll be like a tingling or a burning sensation right about here. And that'll be your third eye advancing to another level. Another way to increase your psychic abilities is pretty much practice, I guess. Practice your psychic abilities. See if you can find one that works for you, that you like and it's easy to do. I'm going to go over some psychic abilities quickly. There's seeing auras, seeing into the future and past and present. There is manipulating energy, and looking into people's minds to know what they are thinking. There are some abilities where you can find just about anything you want, something that you've lost and you need to find. There are also abilities to see ghosts and demons and angels. There are abilities to leave your form, your human physical form, and go into other realms and dimensions and see other beings in those dimensions. And they are actually just different frequencies. So technically, you can see them in this physical body. You can see them with your physical eyes, but they're just not on this frequency. Or like if you were listening to the radio or whatever, there are radio waves that send the messages and music or whatever to your radio. You know, picture those radio waves as everything you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Now, those are your 5 senses. I think I got all 5. Hearing, seeing, smell, taste, and touch, yeah. Now, everyone has the 6th sense, that ability that is special to them and them alone. So, there are abilities that many people have that there isn't just one ability for each person, because then there'd be too many abilities to keep track of. There are categories, but it's individual for everyone because everyone is at a different level at that ability. So once you've figured out what level you're at, you know how strong your ability is. Like if you've ever gone to see a medium, you know that they can communicate with the dead. Now some mediums can only hear what the dead is saying. Some can only smell things that the dead are trying, and the dead are trying to use that to communicate. And then people sometimes just see them, and some taste things, whatever, and stuff. And some can feel things that they felt in their last days. But then there are people who can have multiple of the abilities instead of just one. Like you could see and hear, or you could feel, hear, see, feel, and hear, or something like stuff like that. Just combinations. And that's pretty much how that works. That's pretty much how leveling the abilities works, is you'll have a certain ability in that ability. Like seeing auras, some people can only see them on a white blank background, and then some people can just see the aura instantly by just looking at a person and wanting to see their aura. They can see it. Now, another ability is to see in time, which actually is not that hard because you're on a set line. So all they're doing is looking at you further down. So say you're here. They're just looking at you a little further, about here, or a little past, about here. So here, let's use my wand. So say you're right here around the center of your life. They can see forward to the end, or in reverse to the back. And there are many levels on this one as well. Some can see so far back, they can see your past life. Lives that came before this physical one. This physical form. Because your soul moves from form to form, but it keeps losing its knowledge. So what happens is you could have had hundreds and hundreds of different forms, and you could only have knowledge of this one physical form because it's been so long since you've had your last form, so you wouldn't remember it. Because what happens is, once you arise to heaven, or the summer place, or whatever it is you believe in, you stay there for so long, you forgot your last life. And then when your soul comes back down to a new life, you can't remember its other one. But once your soul goes back up to heaven, it can remember all of its lives once again. And that's how seeing lives works. But the way they see them is they'll feel and see things that you saw, and taste and smell things that you smelled. And they can even see things that aren't even existing anymore. They can see people that you've met in your past lives that might still be alive. And that's pretty much what happens there. Yeah, I gotta end the video, otherwise YouTube won't accept this. So, thank you for watching. I'm probably gonna make a second part for you guys. Blessed be.